And this is a silly question, and don't worry, this won't be on the exam. And I know this is kind of graphic, but what do you call this stuff? And I love asking this because I always see like different things. Like I know what we call it here, like eye boogers. Yeah, I, I, yeah, I've seen that. Hear that used. And mucus, eye booger. Yeah, I see macapia pia. That's like local pigeon. Pus, eye boogies, pus, lacrimal mucus. Ooh, fancy. Sleep gun, jaundice. No. Does she have yellow eyes? No, not really yellow. Sleep ocular. Yeah, I've seen that. That one's when it seems regional. That sleep, right? Or like dust or whatnot. Yeah, I've seen that stuff called sleep and ocular discharge eye wax. That's creative. I don't know if I've heard that one before, but I love asking that because yeah, this is a good time to learn about different things that people call this sort of mucus and this discharge. But the one I like wanted to go for, and I'm glad someone mentioned that Hawaiian pigeon word for calling. So this is your Hawaiian pigeon word of the day. So this is maka pia pia, and if a root word, one of them is maka. I have to look at the pia part because pia, I think it also can refer to root or something else. But that maka part, so maka refers to the eyes, and this not eye boogies right here, maka pia pia. Now why do I bring that up? Well, everyone's probably woken up with this sometime in their life, right? So it's kind of wet, it's kind of sticky, it's soft. And this is why I bring it up. There are what you call your meninges, and one of them is called your pia mater, your arachnoid mater, and your dura mater. So these three layers are surrounding your entire central nervous system. And this is why I bring up that gross little like picture of that huge eye booger, right? Because pia mater is the soft mater. It's the soft, and again, this is where I'll just say matter because it sounds like I'm being pretentious by saying mater, like alma mater. Because it, yeah, for some reason they use the mater like alma mater is supposed to be like mother, but I like just saying it's just matter. I just add the extra T. But again, this is not the official way. It's actually the correct spelling is one T, so it's like mater, like alma mater. But then arachnoid matter, so this one is like spiderweb matter. So again, arachnoid refers to something that's spider-like. So arachnoid matter is this kind of like web-like, stringy sort of like matter. And dura sounds like durable, right? So when something's durable, or even in multiple languages, Romance languages, dur means hard. So durable matter. So pia, like the maka pia pia, is the softest matter. Arachnoid is spiderweb matter, and this dura mater is on the toughest, the most leathery part. And if you're taking the lab and you for the in-person dissections for the sheep brain, you hopefully you got to feel that dura mater, and it's very tough and leathery. And these layers are arranged in a certain way. So another way I like to remember which layer is closest to the spinal cord and brain, which one is furthest and most superficial. So yeah, this is the dura mater. So analogy I like to use is like a leather jacket. So a leather jacket, you have that tough exterior, but with the leather jacket, do you want the hard leather on the inside or do you want it on the outside? So again, leather jackets, especially if you're a motorcyclist, it's supposed to be there as kind of protection, right? It's more than it looks cool, but it also has a functional use. So you want the hardest layer on the outside. Same with the meninges. You want the dura mater on the outside so it protects your sensitive brain and spinal cord from all the bones and extra trauma that could end up grading up your central nervous system. Now with the jacket, you want the softest part that touches your body that's very sensitive toward the inside, right? So it's like the lining, that soft lining of a leather jacket, that's like your pia mater. You want the softest layer and closest to the sensitive part. You want the innermost part to be soft. Now the arachnoid, I like to think of it kind of like the insulation or the packing or the fluff that's between the innermost layer of your jacket and the hard outside. So the arachnoid mater is kind of like that middle layer that forms like this middle layer between the pia, the softest matter that's closest to your CNS, and the dura mater that's the hardest layer and toughest layer toward the outside part of your central nervous system. Okay, so then is how you would see it if you just took a cross section of the spinal cord, and notice that what we have, remember that your spinal cord passes through the vertebral foramina, And what we have is the vertebral foramina. We have this your vertebrae are made of bone, right? So it kind of makes sense to have all this tough dura mater surrounding it, so that the part is protecting your central nervous system from the bone. And you also have these other layers as well, like the arachnoid mater in the middle and the pia mater that's right. So it's pretty much, well, maybe with special techniques, but the pia mater is also, this is why I also bring up that eye boogie stuff, because it's very sticky. So the pia mater pretty much sticks to your central nervous system. So it is a layer, but it's like pretty much just glued and pretty much fused with that certain central nervous system, both your spinal cord and your brain. And this is what it looks like. Yeah, or actually they were able to dissect it. So it's very hard to dissect, but this is a skilled person who did that. But the cool thing about the pia mater also forms these little, what we call the denticulate ligaments. And these are these little extensions of the pia mater. So I like to think of them like, it sounds like dental, and it sounds like dental ligament, right? So I like to think of them like little dental floss, like these little threads that help to anchor your spinal cord. So the other great thing is that your spinal cord isn't just rattling around and banging around on the inside of the of your vertebral foramina. They are helped, or multiple structures help to hold in place, including these denticulate ligaments. So they are extensions of that pia mater that this person expertly dissected. That's pretty amazing. So to summarize those meninges and the arrangement of the meninges, you have the spinal cord, and then you have the surrounding vertebral bone. So the order of the meninges, you want the softest layer, the innermost layer, right next to your central nervous system and your spinal cord. Then you have the arachnoid layer in the middle, and then you have the toughest layer, and there's actually this part right here is actually fat, but it makes sense that you want the toughest layer that's closest to the bone. You don't want the bone grating up your spinal cord or causing trauma to that. So another way I like to think of the dura mater is kind of like a rash guard. It's like the rash guard of your central nervous system, protecting against that rough bone.